Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to do some video notes on volume today. So you should have these in your notes. We're actually going to flip through really quick and we're actually going to go past this page, and to your blank page, and this is what you're going to write. Okay, so volume is how much fills a three-dimensional shape. It fills it like water filling a cup or sand filling a bag, something like that. That's volume. Units are cubed, which means they are to the third power. So examples of this would be feet cubed, cubic feet, that's another way to say it, centimeters cubed or cubic centimeters, yards cubed or cubic yards, inches cubed or cubic inches. You can say it either way, just kind of like we say feet squared or square feet when we talk about area. Volume is cubed or cubic. All right, now let's go back and do some examples. Okay, let's go back to this first page, and what I want you to do is I want you to use your knowledge from surface area, and I want you to pause the video right now and see how much of this page, using your previous knowledge in the formula chart, how much of this can you fill in. Go ahead and pause it. Okay, now you should have filled in this information. The top one is a cube, so that means the base is a square. You can fill in this formula from the formula chart. Volume equals area of the base, you see that again, times the height of the cube. All right, this bottom one is a rectangular prism, which means that the bottom is a rectangle, and the formula for volume of a prism is still volume equals area of the base times the height of the prism. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and fill in some units and see if you can go ahead and solve it. Okay, so this first one, each side of the square is 4 centimeters. And for this rectangular prism, this is 6 inches long. It is 2 inches wide and 3 inches tall. All right, if you're feeling pretty comfortable because you know how to do area of the base and height of the cube, I want you to go ahead and pause it and see if you can do this on your own. You should try it and see if you get it right. Okay, now you should have paused and let's check. Now, if you were ambitious and you went ahead and tried to do this on your own, you should have gotten the volume of the cube is 64 centimeters cubed, and the volume of the rectangular prism is 36 inches cubed. All right, now if you got them right, go ahead and you can move on to the next example. Fast forward a little bit. If you did not get them right, follow me now. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to go ahead and fill in what we know. We know that big B stands for the area of the base. Well, out here to the side, I'm actually going to redraw the base, which I know is a square, and I know that each measurement is 4 centimeters long. So the area of this base, well, I'm going to write the formula for the area of a square or rectangle, which is base times height, which is 4 times 4. So the area of the square base of your cube is 16 centimeters squared. The area is 16 centimeters squared. So capital B is 16. The height of the cube, well, since it's cube, every dimension is 4 centimeters. So I'm going to put the height of the cube is 4 centimeters, and I'm going to go ahead and substitute that in. Area of the base is 16. The height of the cube is 4. And 16 times 4 is 64 centimeters cubed. And that's how we get our answer there. Okay, the rectangular prism is very similar. In order to get the area of the base, let's redraw that base. It's what it's sitting on down here at the bottom, and the length of that is 6 inches. And the height is 2 inches. Right here, 2 by 6. 6 by 2, 6 inches and 2 inches. So that means that the area of the base, capital B, I'm going to go ahead and write the formula for the area of a rectangle is base times height. So in this case, it is 6 times 2. area equals 12 inches squared. So the area of the base is 12. And the height of this prism is 3. All right, and when I substitute in, I say area of the base is 12 inches squared times the height of the prism, which is 3. And what do you know? 12 times 3 is 36. Now, a lot of you guys know that, a lot of you guys think that volume is length times width times height, which is kind of what we've done here. We've done the base, which was 6 times 3 times your height of 3. Oh, I'm sorry, this should have been a 2. 6 times 2 times 3. So this just happened to be the base, all right? So it's kind of the same, but this is only for a prism, a rectangular prism, so you got to be careful of that. All right, let's move on to our next one. Okay, go ahead and pause where you are right now, and I want you to see how much of this you can fill in. Okay, this is what you should have filled in. This top one is a triangular prism, which means the base is a triangle. The formula for volume from your formula chart is still volume equals area of the base times the height of the prism. And you have your area of the base and height of the prism. This bottom one is a cylinder, which means that the shape of the base is a circle. Volume still of a prism or a cylinder is area of the base times the height of the prism. All right, now let's fill in some measurements and see how well you guys can do. These are a little bit trickier, but not that much. This is 13 feet, 10 feet, and 20 feet. And the diameter of this cylinder is 20 yards. And actually the height of the cylinder is also 20 yards. Okay, so go ahead and pause here. See if you can get it on your own, and if you do, then great, and if you don't, then you can come back and watch how we do it. All right, so should have paused here. If you went ahead and did it, the volume of this triangular prism should be 1,200 feet cubed. All right, and the volume of this cylinder is 6,280 yards cubed. Make sure you get those measurements in there. Okay, now let's go ahead. If you got both of those right, you can go ahead and stop and you can start working on your assignment for the day. If not, go ahead and we'll follow along and see how we made these calculations. Make sure that you're correcting them as you go along. All right, so here, the first thing we need to calculate is the area of this base. All right, I'm going to redraw this base out to the side, and I'm going to notice that the base is 10 feet long, and I actually drew it kind of down here below for a reason. And then each of the slanted parts, that's 13. Kind of looks like a scarecrow, doesn't it? Okay, so now what I've noticed is that the formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times the height. All right, well, what I know I can fill in is that the base of my triangle is 10 feet long, but I don't know the height because I don't have this little part here that makes a right angle with my base. Okay, so what you're noticing is that here we're going to have to do Pythagorean theorem because we've got two right triangles. Well, since this is an isosceles, that means that both sides are each 5 feet long. So that means that we can go ahead and fill this in. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So let's go ahead and fill it in. 5 squared plus b squared, because I am missing one of the legs, and the hypotenuse is 13. So I'm going to go ahead and square that. 5 squared is 25 plus b squared equals 169. That's 13 times 13. Now I'm going to have to take away 25 from both sides of my equation in order to get b squared by itself. 25 minus 25 cancels out, so I'm left with b squared equals 144. So when I take the square root of 144, I'm trying to ask myself what times itself gives me 144, so the answer is 12. So that means that the height of this triangle right here is 12. So that's all to solve just for the height of that triangle. Well, I know that half of 10 is 5, and I still need to multiply by that 12. So the area of this triangle part of the triangular prism is 60 feet squared. All right, I know that took a while, but you guys should be getting the hang of this now. All right, and the height of the prism, remember, is from one of the triangular bases to the other base, and the distance between those bases is that 20 feet. So that should be 20 feet right there. Now I have all the pieces I need to solve. So area of the base, that's 60 feet squared, times the height of the prism, which is 20. Well, I know that 6 times 2, that's my 12, and then I add both these zeros in, and I get 1,200 or 1,200 feet cubed. All right, next let's move on to this cylinder. Okay, well, here I know that I need to find the area of the base and the height of the cylinder. Well, this should say cylinder, shouldn't it? Yeah, that should say cylinder right there. Okay, now the height of the cylinder, that's pretty easy. The height there is 20. And now I need to find the area of the base. Well, I know that the shape of the base of a cylinder is a circle. So I am going to use the formula for the area of a circle, which is pi r squared. Pi times my radius squared. So that's 3.14 times my radius. Well, if my diameter, remember the diameter goes all the way across. If my diameter is 20, that means my radius is half of the diameter. So my radius is 10, and then I need to square that. Okay, well, PEMDAS, order of operations, tells me to do exponents first. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 10 squared, 10 times 10, which is 100. And I know that trick. Remember that when you multiply by multiples of 10, since there are 2 zeros, then I can just move that decimal over twice. So I get 314. Remember that moving that decimal over twice, that's 1, 2. All right, perfect. So the area of this base is 314 yards squared. Okay, well now I have pretty much all I need, so I'm going to substitute that in. Area of the base is 314 times the height of the prism, which is 20. Oh, sorry, I keep saying prism, it should be cylinder. The height of the cylinder in this case is 20. 314 times 20, well, I know that 314 times 2, that's 8, 2, and 6. So if it's 20, I just add a 0. And that's where I get 6,280 yards cubed. And that's all there is to volume of prisms and cylinders. It's really pretty simple, doesn't take as much work as surface area. So I hope you guys understood this, and let's get started on our activity for today.